Now we're going to look at stress today, which is a very important topic. Where do you put the strongest, where do you put the stress when you say a word? Now, I must admit, when I was a kid, I didn't understand what stress was. And we used to get taught about stress in poetry, iambic pentameter, where you put the stress in the sentence. And no one bothered to make it clear to me what stress actually means. And I studied Russian as a kid, and if you put the stress in the wrong part of the word, nobody understands you. And I was doing that with all of the words that I was saying in this language. And so if you were doing it in English, if you were saying things like camera instead of camera, nobody will understand you. And this is why stress is so important. So make sure you are very clear what stress actually means. Because, of course, it's really important. It's really important for pronunciation. And so we're going to look at stress, first of all, with nouns and verbs. Because often in English, the noun and the verb are exactly the same. And sometimes the adjective and the verb look the same. They're spelt the same, but they're not pronounced the same. And the same goes for the noun and the verb. That they're actually pronounced differently. See if you can hear me changing the position of the stress. And I think you can. And of course, to make it clear that these are the nouns and these are the verbs, I put an A here and a 2 here, because for me as a native, that makes it really clear that this is the noun and this is the verb. Okay? So we talk about a project, but when we use the verb, we talk about to project. He projects his desires onto other people, something like that. I think we all project our desires, in fact, onto others. But a project, to project, a record, to record, an increase, to increase, a decrease, to decrease. Yeah, a decrease, to decrease. I must admit, with decrease, I can imagine people saying to decrease as well. I can imagine both pronunciations for the verb. Same goes for increase, to increase, to increase. I can imagine both pronunciations being used, but I just want to look at the general pattern here, because there is a pattern. Produce, to produce, an insult, to insult, a present, to present, an export, to export, a protest, to protest, a permit, to permit, an object, to object, a subject, to subject. It always works.